Welcome everyone to Nano's Indie Cafe, the show where we stream and promote various indie games and other indie projects. Our whole goal and focus here is to give indies a place to promote themselves. So if you have your own project, be it game, comic, indie food truck, please, indie food truck people, sponsor me, call me, or I'll sponsor you. But if you have your own project, feel free to talk and discuss in the chat, drop a link. And today is the 4th episode of our podcast, and today's guest is a developer of a visual novel-ish adventure game, Retrace. Welcome, guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah. I'm EelskWhite. I am... Yeah, that's pretty much it. I made Retrace, which released 3 days ago, and I'm very overwhelmed, but I'm very happy, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Cool. So, did you play a lot of games growing up? Did you play a lot of visual novels? What were your games?
I started with, I had a PS2, but I played just random Disney tie-ins. My first game that was mine was Pokemon, and then after that it was Ace Attorney was the big thing that introduced me to visual novels and puzzles and all of that. So yeah. It was Ace Attorney, then the Umineko series, if you know it.
What series?
If you've heard of Higurashi, which is like a horror...
I know what Higurashi is. I know it's based on visual novels, which actually are on Steam now, surprisingly.
Yeah, they are. They're really good. So yeah, Umineko is by the same guy.
Okay.
And that's what really influenced me to want to make visual novels. And yeah, it's also stuff like, Corpse Party and stuff made in RPG Maker.
Yeah, I have not played Corpse Party. I've heard of it. It's one of
those things. It's one of those things I enjoyed, but I'm not sure I can recommend.
Yeah,
it's
because
it's a bit outdated now.
Because I know when I first saw your game, the thing that came to my mind was the Danganronpa.
Yeah, that was also a huge influence. Definitely, that was a bit later, but yeah, I very much enjoyed that series. And Zero Escape is the other one.
Even if the endings are questionable.
Yeah,
I was okay with the first one. Second one, okay, it was crazy, but third one, I was like, please stop.
I think they're best enjoyed if you just ignore all the big plot stuff and just enjoy the murder mysteries, because it does get a bit. And don't even talk to me about the anime. It was just.
Are we talking about the anime adaptation or the anime that actually ties in?
The tie-in one, yeah, the sequel/prequel that they did.
I don't get why they decided to make that into an anime form. That could have just been Danganronpa 3.
Yeah, I know. It was very strange. I would have enjoyed it more as a game, I think, but yes.
And it's hard to explain it to people because people think it's just an adaptation and they didn't have to explain. No, it's a problem. Make sure you play the games first, so.
Yeah. It's not like the actual adaptation was that, it was okay, but it was very squished. Yeah. You didn't get a good feeling from it.
I watched the first 3 episodes. I thought it was okay. Then they start skipping a lot, and I'm like, okay, I played the game, I can understand this, but if you've never played the game, I feel like this would be super hard to follow.
Definitely.
So, but I thought the Ace Attorney anime was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I haven't finished that, which I should.
Yeah, I watched the first season on VRV, but then Funimation ended the partnership with Crunchyroll.
That sucks.
So yeah.
That goes to show how long it's been.
Yeah. So did you? So where are you from?
I'm from Australia originally. I live in the UK, but I'm originally from Sydney.
What's it with all these Australian developers? I feel like I need to move to Australia now.
Oh, not right now. Wait for it to calm down a bit.
Is something going on in Australia that I need to know about?
Big fires mostly.
Oh yeah.
If you're the type to stay inside, it's not so bad.
Oh yeah, I never leave the house.
Yeah, then you might be okay.
I only leave the house to do nerdy stuff, like play board games. That's my idea of like living living the house because I live in Arizona and we have a pretty like big like board game community here. We have like our own conventions, game nights, monthly and stuff. So, but from like doing the show, I've met like a lot of like Australian people. Like a lot of them are actually another one actually is an RPG Maker developer.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah, Bizarre Monkey, developer of Fantasia.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've met a lot more Australian game devs since I came here than since I was back home, but that's also partly just because I'm more social now. Actually learned how to talk to people. Yeah,
it's talking thing. I still don't get how it works, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm still working on it. It's easier online.
Yeah, like I do good like talking on stream and stuff, but when it comes to like a presentation, like in like real life and stuff, and talking to people, I'm like, wait, how do I make words come out of my mouth again?
Yeah, it's bad.
So speaking of RPG Maker, so your game is made in RPG Maker, right?
No, it's actually made in Game Maker.
Oh, Game Maker! I sometimes get those two mixed up.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's fine. It's deliberately designed to look like the old RPG Maker games, so I get a lot of people saying that. I did download RPG Maker and started trying to make something in it, but it's kind of tricky.
So why did you choose Game Maker particularly? Were you looking at other engines? Why did this one work for you?
Yeah, so obviously everyone wants to use Unity. I don't think very well in 3D, so even though you can make visual, and I hear that they've put in a new feature where you can just do 2D, which is nice.
Yeah.
But so that's reason number one is I don't do 3D very well. Reason number two was entirely because Undertale came out shortly before I wanted to start making a game, and I was like, I want to make a game that looks like that. So I did. And thirdly was I made a friend over here. His name is Juju, and he did a lot of programming for a game called Hyperlight Drifter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's like, cool. I've heard of Hyperlight Drifter. I've never played, but I'm familiar.
I really should.
I've got that problem too. I have like friends who like make comics and stuff. I have the books, but I just haven't read the books.
It's really tough. It's when you've got so many friends who are creative. It's like I have time to do everything.
And then you feel bad when you see him.
Yeah, I know. I feel so bad. But yeah, so I made friends with him, and he wanted to make a dialogue engine to be able to, turn text scripts into a visual novel in Game Maker.
Oh god, I'm having bad flashbacks of my game jam experiences.
Oh god.
Because first game jam I did, we were like, hey, let's have our game have dialogue choices and stuff.
Oh no. Oh, yeah. Poor things.
Yeah.
It's better since I started 3 years ago. From now, it's gotten a lot better, but it's still quite tricky. But yeah, so he wanted to make something, and he was like, if you help me design it, essentially, because I knew what I wanted out of it, he would essentially program it all into my game for free, or for me buying him lunch, which was very nice of him. So that really cemented it, because then I could make him do all the programming for me, or at least teach me enough that I could do the rest myself. So those were the three big reasons.
So do you find it's like easier to work with a dev, with another person? Do you feel like you still have that creative control? Because I know like some people prefer to just like stay like a solo dev, because there's a certain like proudness, I guess, from that.
Yeah, I can understand that, but for me, I'm just not. Yeah, I don't work so well on my own. I get very like, I don't know whether what I'm making is good. So it's actually kind of nice to have someone to bounce off and be like, hey, is this actually a good idea, or am I doing this totally wrong? And Gigi was really good with that, and so was my artist, Domi, who sort of helped me with a lot of design stuff. So she did all of the art and the pixel art and the portraits and everything.
Oh yeah, the portraits and the arts are pretty good, especially those like female designs, you know.
Yeah, we're both quite partial to female characters, but still put some boys in. But
I mean, it's not your fault. I don't know, female designs and like female clothes just are
they're better.
Just better.
They're just better.
More like options. I'll be honest. I'm that guy in an MMO who makes the female character because the female character always has better like options, and I like cute clothes. So you know.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Yeah, exactly. It's like I made a male character in the last Pokemon game, and I was so disappointed by the fashion choices. I was like, I have to go female this time. There's just no option.
Pokemon's a little different. There's not like a whole lot of fashion options. Though here in recent games, they have gotten better at that.
It's a lot better in this game and the last one.
Yeah,
the one before that wasn't as good, but.
Even though I'm not a big Pokemon fan, I actually didn't grow up with the Pokemon games. I grew up with the Pokemon like anime, but like my main thing was Digimon. So.
Oh yeah, well you're either one or the other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there just wasn't any Digimon when I grew up. I don't know why. We just didn't have it. Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
Did they not have it playing where you were, or did you miss that like generation?
I guess I must have just missed it. So I started playing video games around 2004. So I missed a lot of the really classic stuff. Like I didn't play.
Yeah, but I'm trying. I feel like there had to have been a Digimon season playing at that time. Because
I didn't watch a lot of cartoons. I know, sacrilege. I watched a lot of Nickelodeon, but not a lot of like anime until I was older.
What did you watch on Nickelodeon?
Oh god, that takes me back. I remember. Okay, some of this might not be Nickelodeon because my memory is not very good. I watched a lot of Kim Possible.
Disney.
Yeah, there were like 3 channels that showed cartoons, and I would just flip back and forth between them until I found something I liked. That one about the imaginary friends.
Fosters.
Yes.
Cartoon Network.
Yeah, Cartoon Network. That was good. I like Cartoon Network.
I guess I'm your cartoon Wikipedia now. Even though there's still a lot of stuff I probably don't know, you know.
Yeah. No, it's funny, Australia really missed out on a lot of we didn't really get anime aside from Pokemon and a little bit of Sailor Moon until I was like a teenager. So I missed out on really getting to watch a lot of the stuff that a lot of other people did.
Well, anime in general did take some time to like bloom outside of Japan, you know.
Yeah. We just got everything a bit late. Like we would always get everything 2 years later after. So Japan would get it, and then America would get it, and then we would get it. I don't know why.
Is it still like that now, or has Australia gotten better?
There's a reason we have a reputation for one of the most pirating nations, but it's a lot better now, definitely.
Piracy is an interesting topic.
Yeah, probably not one we need to.
Yeah. I don't want to get you in trouble.
But yes, that's always the stereotype, is that no one will sell us legally the content. So what do you do? Anyway.
So your game just launched in Steam. How do you feel about it finally being released?
It feels really weird. It's good. I'm very anxious. People seem to like it. I had to make my friend Jada read the reviews for me because I was too scared.
Oh yeah, that can be terrifying. And like Steam doesn't have the best like review system. It's either like thumbs or downs.
Yeah, it's not. I haven't even. Yeah, I need to look at it properly, but it's
because sometimes I want like write review, but sometimes like my reviews fall more neutral. Like I may technically be a thumbs down, but I'm still saying somewhat good stuff. So you know, I just don't like the term review in general.
Yeah, it's really tough, and it's like I've got a thought here that I can't quite get into words properly. So just give me a second.
Okay.
It's hard to like quantify what you like and dislike about the game into just thumbs up or down or into a number or
numbers especially. Like you could like get something like an 8 out of 10 and then people think like, oh,
I know
you think that the game sucks. I'm like, an 8 out of 10 is it's still,
it doesn't mean anything anymore. If it's not 5-star or 1-star, it's like, what's the point?
So I think it's a point instead of reviews. We have like more of like discussions about games. You know, what works, what doesn't. That way, like developers can like approve and figure out what works. So you haven't read any reviews?
Nope. Jada summarized one for me, but I need to go look at them. I haven't been brave enough. I'll definitely do it tomorrow.
So now that your game is released, what's the game plan? Fixing bugs, or do you have plans for future projects?
I do. So fixing bugs is the main one. Well, sort of. I'm waiting to get a few more so I can do them all at the same time instead of just like trying to fix everything as it comes up. I do have a project that's very, very different that I'm working on. It's going to be like it's a VR thing, so it's very different. But it's going to be fun. I don't know how much I can talk about it, so sorry.
Ooh.
And I'm doing some stuff for mobile, which is pretty fun. It's one of those things where you can it's essentially just like one of those choices apps, but it's pretty cool. They let me do essentially what I want.
Okay,
so
cool.
That's fun.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with like mobile games and mobile applications. I know like a lot of people in the gaming community get like sick of like mobile games, but you know, as long as it's still a well-designed game and it's fun, you know.
Yeah, exactly. There is a lot of, just going on and trying to find a game to play. I know there's a lot of crap out there, but
because I don't know if you're a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, are you by any chance?
I adored the first one as a kid. That was one of the ones I played on PS2. But and then I wasn't good enough to beat the second one, and then I sort of lost track of the series quite badly, and I haven't been able to get back into it.
So they announced one of the newest like Kingdom Hearts title, pretty much the first title that's coming out like after Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's like
cool.
And it's a mobile game, so people weren't that happy.
No, I can't imagine they were. If it's done well, a game like that can be good. Like, I really liked do you know the Pokemon tie-in Magikarp Jump?
I've never heard of that. What's that one?
It is just a random little game where you raise a Magikarp and you train it to jump really high, and then...
That sounds adorable.
It's really cute. It's not like super deep and mechanics-based, and the graphics are just really cute and cartoony, but it's just a really nice little game. And I think something like that works really well on mobile. I don't know anything really about... Diablo was the big one, right? Where they...
Oh yeah. To the point when I was on that, I remember someone from the audience came up and asked the question, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
Jesus. Yeah. It seems hard to put Diablo on mobile.
I feel like if you took your time and actually like design it well, I feel like it could work.
Yeah, you probably could. There's probably a way to do it. It just the concept of it just sounds so weird that I think people reacted. I haven't played. Is it even out? I was going to say I haven't played it. I don't even know if it came out, but
yeah, I haven't heard anything about it.
I didn't hear anything about it after all of that controversy. But,
yeah.
Oh well.
So, back to your game. So, how would you describe the main like game flow of your game?
So, it is you walk around and explore. You solve puzzles, and you essentially are trying to figure out how to escape. And in doing so, you'll eventually reach a point in a timeline where you won't be able to continue anymore, and then you'll be returned to the start to be able to take a different path and figure out some mysteries there. And then maybe you can go through a different path, and because you solved something there, you can go further. That kind of thing.
Yeah, like the whole like time travel and I guess time repeat. I guess.
Yeah, whenever I try to describe it,
I guess technically, I guess it is time travel since you do remember. Do you remember or no?
Yes, you do.
Oh, okay.
You do. Yeah, the main character does, but no one else does. Well,
and
spoilers.
Yeah. Well, it's. Yeah, I get. So, what made you want to add like actual like gameplay instead of just making it more like standard like kinetic or even like a standard like choice visual novel?
I think the specific thing was that I really enjoy games like that. Like I really like the gameplay of Corpse Party and Eve and all of those like and I love the pixel backgrounds and the pixel characters. I played one right before I made it called Pocket Mirror, which has the most.
Oh, I played that. I streamed that like a long, kind of a long time. It was one.
Yeah, it was a while ago now. It came out, I think, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I streamed it last year, I think. So
yeah,
I think it through the whole game, but I like the whole pocket like watch thing and the puzzles and the whole like trippy, creepy atmosphere you had. Yeah. So was that the kind of atmosphere you were trying to go for?
Pretty much, yeah. That's what I was trying to. Yeah, basically, that's what I was trying to go for. Yeah, and
so since your game has a great cast of characters, well, how do you go by developing those characters? Do you have like a writing process, or how do you figure like what direction you want those characters to take?
It's actually funny. Well, I don't know if it's funny, but for this, usually when I'm starting a fresh story, I try to pick a concept to base some of the characters around just as a starting point. Like I might abandon it later, but so for the 4 main characters of Retrace, it was the 4 humors, if you know that. It's like an old medical thing. It's what is it? Phlegmatic, choleric, melancholic, and whatever the other one is. Basically, it's the 4 personality types. And so they have colors, which is what the main colors of the characters are. So I think Freya is melancholic and blue. I don't remember what the others are now because, like I said, it's a starting point, but it doesn't. Once I've started developing the characters, I sort of pull away a bit and make them more rounded and less just like a stereotype. But I do start with like, okay, this character's main thing is that she's melancholic, she's depressed, she's withdrawn, whatever the other things are. And so I develop it from there.
And I think that can make the characters like very relatable. Do you try and make your characters like characters that like people can relate to?
Oh, definitely. And I was very pleased. That was like my number one feedback from people when they just start the game. I think Freya's first line is "Ugh, go away."
Oh yeah.
When she receives a phone call. That's in the. I don't know I know you played the demo a while
Yeah,
ago. I don't
yeah.
know if you played the version with the prologue in it, because I know I didn't have the prologue in the very earliest version. Anyway, 1 second.
Okay.
Can it wait a little bit? Sorry, my wife's in the other room. Where was I?
You were talking about the prologue?
Yes. Right, yeah. So her first line is, "Oh, go away," and then she talks to Owen, and then every time you interact with something in her room, she's like, "I want to go back to bed."
Yeah.
Play video games.
Yeah, that was in the version I played, so.
Yeah. So I'm glad. I mean, that's very much just my own experience with depression. Is just wanting to go back to bed and play video games instead of going out. But I was surprised at the amount of people who found that relatable. But yeah, it's very much drawn from. All of them are in some way drawn from either my experience or someone close to me. So I think that helps make it more relatable.
And do you think talking about these like mental health issues in like video games can be helpful and beneficial to people?
I think it can. I think you can do it very badly.
Oh yeah.
Not to name a recent project that was just announced, but I think especially if it's from someone who already suffers it, I think it can be really useful to talk about it from that angle. You can talk about some really deep and sort of meaningful stuff in video games, and I think, and especially, I don't want to say especially visual novels, but I find visual novels do it more.
I think the reason is depending on the visual novel, but a lot of the visual novels don't necessarily have gameplay. It's pretty much just a novel. Because of that, they have to focus more on storytelling.
Yeah, I think that's totally right. Yeah, they can't really. Yeah, exactly. They don't have the action to break it up, so you just spend more time with the characters, which I think is nice.
Yeah. So, when you're developing your characters, do you think at all about like relationships, be it platonic or romantic relationships, and how do you decide which direction to like take that?
So for this game, I had a very specific direction in mind. So it differs obviously depending on the story. For this game, it was very specifically, I wanted to make a game like the games that I like to play, but I wanted them to have actual gay relationships and not just have it be like, oh, it's implied that this girl likes this other girl, but they never actually talk about it.
That like frustrates me so much. I see it so much in like anime, particularly anime. They like tease it. If they're not gonna like end up together, don't tease me, you know.
I know, it sucks. So yeah, I just finished playing the Atelier series, and that is so bad at having close female friendships that are obviously written to be kind of romantic, but it's just
I don't know. I don't know if it's like a cultural thing or what it is.
I think it might be, but then you see Western shows do it too, so it's like great. So yeah, I very specifically wanted. Once I decided that I wanted a female protagonist, which I think I just kind of decided from the beginning. It's a lot of visual novels end up with female. Well, a lot of this style of game ends up with female protagonists, which I think is nice.
Yeah, I like playing as a female lead.
Yeah, I think, for me, it's like, it doesn't really bother me one way or another, and I figure there's enough games out there with male protags, I may as well do my part and write some females. So, yeah, I started with a girl protag. I knew I wanted her to have 2 potential love interests, and then to round out the cast, I had 2 guys who have a relationship that may or may not develop later in the story.
You have to play the game to find out.
Exactly. So yeah, I very much wanted, and in the promo images for the game, Freya's weakness is listed as pretty girls, because I didn't want there to be any question that this game has a girl who likes other girls and it's not hidden or, not acted upon.
And to be fair, who doesn't have like a weakness to cute girls? I mean,
well, exactly. I mean, anyone can understand that.
Yeah. So, so I was gonna ask, but since it's a visual novel, but it might still be a good question regardless. So fans can lean towards certain ships. How do you handle like I guess the whole like shipping culture and making sure like the fans are happy and you are happy at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
Because you do have the advantage of it being like a visual novel and having different routes. So you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Though I imagine there may be a true route. Maybe I don't know if it's that kind of visual novel. If it's just different routes.
It's a bit. The structure is a little bit strange, I guess. There's routes and then it sort of comes back together, which I guess is kind of that's not really a spoiler. And then it branches off again. So there are different. I don't think it's necessarily a spoiler to say you can choose who Freya pursues.
Yeah. That.
I don't know if you would say one's a true ending over the other. I guess, yeah, that's probably something people will argue about.
It gets complicated with the whole time travel stuff.
Yeah, it does.
Though there is a way to do true endings in like time travel. Steins;Gate did a good job. I don't know if you play that one.
I need to. I started it and got a little overwhelmed, but that is something I get recommended a lot. So it's on the list.
It's so good. It probably is my favorite visual novel, even though I've only I think beaten 2 or 3 visual novels. But visual novels take time, man.
They do. I was going to say they're a huge time sink. They are.
Yeah, especially if you want to get the true ending,
Yeah, you want to get all the character endings, all the CGs.
And it's some you might have to get all the character endings to get the true ending.
So, yeah, that's very popular lately.
So if you want to properly finish the game, that can be an investment.
Yeah, it's tough. It is something Steins;Gate is something I want to play, but there's so many games lately. It's very tough. Yeah. Retrace is relatively short, which is partially because that's just how long the story I wanted to tell was, and also I didn't want to pad it out and make it unnecessarily long because I figure people have stuff to do. I'd rather make a really good, high-quality experience that's a few hours long than something ridiculous that's 20 hours long.
So, is Retrace your first game?
It is technically my second.
What was your first game?
It's called To the Wolves. I made it for the interactive fiction competition a couple of years ago. I came in 11th, which I thought was pretty cool. And I always brag about it, but it's I didn't even come in the top 10, but it was still 11th.
That's still good.
Thank you. Yeah, I quite like it. It's just a Twine game, so it's text only. And it's actually the first time, it's the same artist did the cover picture for it as did Retrace, which is pretty cool. And
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of competitions, have you ever done Game Jam or no?
I have. I've done 2. I did. Yeah, I guess they count as games too. Well, I only finished 1. Yeah. I did Global Game Jam when I first moved here, which I think was 2017, 2016. Mm. Which was cool. That was the year it was Waves. We did a tower defense game based on you use your voice. So it's kind of like a party game. You yell at the screen to make the enemies go away. So it was fun.
Yeah. So I've done 2 game jams. One Global Game Jam, and second one was one UAT.
Oh, cool.
They had a game jam. Though I didn't attend UAT. They were just hosting the game jam, and both times we didn't finish our game. So yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's not. especially if you don't have like a good group of people who aren't like as motivated and on taking it seriously. So
it is, for some people it works really well. For me specifically, I get really tired when I'm around other people. So like I get there and I'm really excited, and then about after the first day I'm like, I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah.
So
and depending on what's hosted, you might have to like sleep at the place and stuff.
Yeah, I was lucky I was able to go. If I'd had to sleep there, it would have been tough.
Yeah, because I live like west side of Arizona, so I'm like pretty far from a lot of stuff. Like whenever I want to like hang out with friends, that's at least like that's at least like 30 minutes away.
Yeah, it's tough. London's really good for being able, for public transport specifically. It's relatively easy to get to people. Sydney, not so much.
Yeah, so you live in London now?
Yeah, I do.
How did you like it compared to where you were before?
It's pretty good. I like being able to get to places more easily. The public transport system's really good, and the food's really cheap compared to Sydney. So I like that. But it's also very grey. So that's not ideal.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more resources for sort of game people hanging out. Like,
oh, really?
The way I met Juju was, I met Juju at like they do a event at a pub in North London somewhere, and so I went to there a couple times and met some people. So that was really good.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of like game developers here in Arizona, but like they're just not connected. Like I really want to figure out a way to connect the community here.
Yeah. That's what it was like in Sydney when I left, whereas here they've already made progress in getting everyone connected, which is really cool. There are some people doing some really good work with that. I'm very lucky to be able to just sort of participate in it.
So, do you go to a lot of events to like promote your game? Do you go to cons? Do expo at places?
I did EGX, which is the big sort of industry event over here. So
yeah, I've heard of EGX. How's that one?
It was really good. I got a lot of people. I got good feedback, and I got a lot of people who really liked my game. I think I went up like 1,000 wish lists just from going to EGX, which doesn't, I guess, sound like a lot in the context of bigger games, but it's a lot for me.
Yeah.
So I was happy with that.
So I've kind of wonder about wishes because I see on Twitter a lot of like indie devs say wish listing is important. Is it important? How and why do you think it's important?
That's a good question. I don't really understand how the algorithm works. Apparently, if you have more wish lists, you're more likely to show up in like those coming soon lists, which is important, obviously. Although I've heard recently that it's now more important for people to follow your game rather than wish list it.
Oh yeah, so that is two different things.
Yeah, so apparently wish listing is, well, you still want to wish list, but following is the new thing. And then there's also like, I don't know, it's very confusing and I don't really understand it. I'm lucky I have friends who do, and I just listen to what they tell me.
Yeah, because I wonder if wish listing is more harmful than helpful, because it depends. Are those people wish listing, are they like actually going going and buying your game? If they're just like buying wish listing, that doesn't really help. It's kind of a similar thing with the whole like follow to follow thing. That doesn't like really help.
That doesn't help at all.
So I'm not like giving you a hard time about wish lists and stuff. I'm just like curious and wondering, and I would love.
I wish I had the numbers for you, but I know that people say estimate about 10% of your wish list list will actually buy it. So it's all to do with like trying to get noticed on Steam, basically, because with Steam Labs, I guess it's going to be a bit easier now. But
what's Steam Labs for people who don't know?
It is a thing that Steam is doing where it can show you, they're changing up, they're showing you basically different ways of finding games that you might like. So instead of just showing you the top 10 or 20 games that everyone's playing, it'll be like they've got these experimental algorithms that will try and find you something unusual or unpopular, but something that you might really like. So that's, I think one of them's called like Hidden Gems, which is kind of cool. So it's like games that have really high ratings but haven't got a lot of players. So that's kind of cool. I don't know much about it, but that's something that they're doing to try and get more eyeballs on smaller games, which I'm always a fan of.
Cool. Because back to the whole convention, I've had like discussions and kind of arguments with friends. Like, is like promoting your project at a convention good when we have like the internet to promote it and like social like media? So
I don't know yet. I haven't. Well, I'll know a bit more once in a couple of weeks once the game has been out a bit longer. I think on one hand it was really good and I did get a lot of publicity and a lot of eyes on it. It helped, I think, that I was with a group they're called Tentacle Zone. It's kind of an unfortunate name, but
I like the name.
Yeah, it's funny, and they have like these giant inflatable green, like Day of the Tentacle style tentacles everywhere, which is cool. So they set up all of your monitors and equipment and stuff, and all you have to do is come in with a USB of your game, and so that helped. Mm-hmm. So if you have access to that kind of service, it's good. I don't know that it's necessarily worth the money for a dev of sort of my size. So I'm the only developer on the game with a bunch of contractors. So I'm not like a mid-sized or really indie studio. I'm like a
I do think like conventions, if anything, is good to build that community.
It is, yeah. It's definitely good for meeting other developers. It's just getting to the players that's the tough part. But yeah, I definitely made.
Well, even that, like people who are like fans of your game, who might see on Twitter, might be like, "Oh, I've seen your game," and it helped like build like a community. Or if you meet people who've never heard of your game, it's easier to build that developer player relationship like in person and build that stronger connection and then hopefully from doing that they won't forget about your game and they'll check it out when it comes out.
Yeah, that's definitely a bonus, and I definitely have met a few people who really enjoy the game and have become fans and have really it's a very small community, but it's nice, and it is nice to be able to have that physical connection. I think it's just whether you can. The price is just quite steep, so I guess.
Oh yeah, like especially big conventions like PAX, GDC.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, I've only gone as like an attendee to like events like those. I couldn't imagine being like an exhibitor.
Yeah, I don't regret it. I will say it was very good, but there's pros and cons.
Yeah. Do you think you could go to another con or?
So the next EGX is at a location that I don't like very much. It's in like a weird part of London. So they do 2 EGX shows every year. They do a little one and a big one. And the little one is in a weird place, and I don't think I want to go, but I think I probably should, and I haven't decided yet. So I have to figure that out pretty soon.
So do you think you go to out of London conventions ever, or?
I did. I went to one sort of... this sucks. I don't remember where it is. It's north of London, but I don't remember the exact city. It was a lot smaller and more family-focused, so that wasn't really... I mean, it was still good, but it wasn't perhaps the best audience. I don't mind traveling. It's kind of tough because I mean, traveling is just tough in general.
Yeah. I'm pretty like new to like traveling. Like I actually went to my first like outstate like convention in September. I went to PAX West. That was pretty cool.
Oh wow, that's a big one for your first out of state.
Yeah, and in March I'm actually going to GDC. So.
Oh wow! Oh, congrats. GDC is.
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be an outsider though.
Well, maybe I don't know.
Because I'm not.
I have friends going, so.
Yeah, because I'm not like a developer. Though my whole thing is promoting other developers. So.
Yeah, I'll put in a good word for you.
Well, thank you.
Because I've got some friends who are going. GDC is a weird one. Like I want to go, but I also really don't because I've heard it's a very strange experience. And again, I'm not very good with crowds.
I think with conventions, it's what you make up of it. You have to like set your expectations.
That's definitely true.
You know, I feel like that was my problem with PAX West. I was like underprepared, and I was like focusing too much on like networking that I wasn't allowing myself to have fun. I eventually had fun, but like I was like stressing out because of how crowded it was. I had a hard time having one-on-one conversations, even with like indie devs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And because of that, it made it hard to network, and I was getting like discouraged because that was like one of my main like reasons, you know. So, but eventually I learned just to like have fun. So,
yeah, well, that's good. I'm sure you'll have a good time. It is supposed to be very good, especially for network.
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty busy at GDC. I have like five.
Everyone is.
I have like 5 meetings planned so far. So.
No, we booked up pretty quickly, I think.
Because like GDC has this whole like GDC Connect portal, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Develop has that. It's a smaller industry thing that's in England. Yeah, those things they're very helpful, I think. But it's funny how quickly people get booked up in advance.
Yeah. So, what are some of your like dream events to go to? Dream conventions?
Oh wow. I will say I'm partial. I'm quite a fan of Achievement Hunt, so I'd like to go to RTX one year. That's the Rooster Teeth convention, like the red and blue.
Yeah.
Sorry, I never know who knows what.
Well, people in the know Rooster Teeth a lot recently, so yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to. That would be cool. Yeah, I don't know.
I think I'd like to go to TwitchCon at least once, just once. I probably only go once, just do it.
I don't know enough about TwitchCon, but it would probably be.
Do you stream or no?
I have streamed twice. I just never find the time. I'm juggling so many things. I'd like to stream more, but
have you thought of doing like game dev streams?
I think I would like to. I think I might do that for my next project. That would be fun.
Because I've found it from what I've seen, I've found it to really help with certain developers like growth with the game and stuff. You know,
I think that would be cool.
Yeah, and also devlogs and like YouTube seem to be doing good too.
Yeah, I think I'd like to do that more for this next project. So, yeah, I guess keep an eye out.
Yeah, cool. So because I know you don't have a whole lot of time, so we'll try to wrap this up shortly. Are there any other like topics you want to talk about before we open it to chat questions, or anything you want to ask me? You know, this is a conversation type thing.
No. I should have prepared something.
I didn't prepare either, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, we're both a bit. It's been a weird week. I think it's been a weird week for me too. So it's. Yeah, I don't know. Are you getting a lot of interest from indie devs? Because a lot of us, I think, have a hard time marketing, but it's also, as much as the internet is good for finding people, can be really hard to connect with the right people.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know. My whole thing is like connecting with devs. I've made like a lot of my friends now are devs, so it's kind of weird.
That's good. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
that happens. That's good. That
like I get like random follows from devs all the time, but I wonder if they actually like look at my content or if they're just doing the blind follow thing.
I do wonder. Yeah, I wonder that sometimes too. But what can you do?
Yeah. So, does anyone in the chat that wants to ask our dev a question? Go ahead and ask a question.
Should I get it up? I need to. I lost the link and then I didn't have it. Oh, okay.
I know Monkey was here earlier, and Monkey's also from Australia. So.
Oh, neat.
So, Monkey, ask a question now. So. Sure, Drill, what is your question? Ask that. And people who are listening to the audio version will open it to questions, so I'll do my best to say the username. So, you know. So, what's your question? Infinite Drill Works. Okay, so here's Infinite Drill Works question. After quickly checking about Retrace, what brought the inspiration for the game?
It was pretty much, I had just finished, I think, 0 times 11, which is the last of the Zero Escape series. And I was just really frustrated that it had really cool mechanics, but the characters weren't very, I mean, they were okay, but I didn't really connect with the characters. I just thought,
I've only played like the first one of that.
That's probably it and the second one both have really strong points and really weak points, and then the third one is just it exists. So I basically decided that I wanted to make a game that had all the things that I liked from Zero Escape, but also had basically I wanted to try and make it better, which is kind of a selfish way of thinking about it, but I think sometimes game dev can be a conversation. Like, you see something you like, and you're like, what could I do with that? And then you do it.
Yeah, I've talked about this before. It really bothers me how people are accusing people of copying and stealing and rip-offs. Like, I really don't think there's a such thing as like a rip-off.
Yeah, it's...
Because all artists and art take like inspiration from something.
Exactly.
Be it from other games, from live, Yeah,
so I'm pretty open about the fact that it's very inspired from playing Zero Escape and all of that, and being like, I want to make my own.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with like making your own. Like, hell, I want to make my own Kingdom Hearts one of these days.
Awesome.
It's probably going to be 30 years from now, but I'll get there one day. I'll get there one day.
It's good to have a dream. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So that was pretty much my major inspiration.
So Danganronpa didn't have that much of an inspiration?
Oh yeah, no, I suppose it did. It was... Yeah, I mentioned Zero Escape just because that's the one that came out at that time, but yeah, Danganronpa... I have another game I'm working on for mobile that's more based on Danganronpa. So I had the two kind of going simultaneously. So I put all of my Zero Escape into one and all of my Danganronpa into the other.
Ooh, show universe confirmed?
No,
The Retrace cinematic universe?
There's a recurring character between the worlds and whatever it's called, Retrace. That's how late it is here. I've got my own game. But it's just a joke, but there is a character that appears in both.
Good. So, kind of like sit in Final Fantasy?
Yeah, kind of. God, I played one Final Fantasy when I was a kid. But yeah, I think I know what you mean.
I've never been in a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
I know that's probably like a sin.
No, I'm relieved because I haven't either.
Well, because I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, but I haven't like beaten a Final Fantasy, so you know.
Yeah. Yes, I can imagine that's a point of contention. Although I never really understood. Yeah, I'm playing Kingdom Hearts and seeing the Final Fantasy characters. I was like, why are they here?
Square.
Yeah, they just wanted to.
Like in some of the portable games, there's also characters from other games that like Nomura has designed that aren't Final Fantasy.
Okay, cool.
So
that's just because you can. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
If you're Nomura, you can do whatever you want. That's fine.
That's how Nomura rolls. Nomura, just stop, Nomura. Nomura, I'm tired of having to take medication from playing your games, man.
Yeah,
like the stuff you add, like small spoilers, but time travel stuff. Like, what is this? Why is the mobile game? Why does that take place first in the timeline?
Oh no, there's another new. Oh,
well,
I watched one of those try to explain Kingdom Hearts timeline videos.
Not the new mobile game, the double mobile game that already exists. And Chain X. We still don't know a whole lot about this like new mobile game. So but the one that already exists, it takes place at the beginning of the Kingdom Hearts timeline. Because why not? You know, why not?
Why not?
And I cannot see my map. But oops! I accidentally clicked on that thing. But thank you for the raid.
Oh, nice.
John Gaming. Okay. Welcome to the show. We're doing a podcast right now. So if you guys have any questions for the dev before that they have to go, feel free to ask. They have a game called Retrace. I'm supposed to read the question. Is 2D horror a staple genre for you? If so, what are some of your favorite 2D horror games?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's I don't really like 3D horror. I don't know why, but I really enjoy 2D horror, but when it becomes 3D, it's too scary. But I think Ib is a big one. It's spelled IB. It's a old Japanese RPG Maker horror. Oh gosh, I had one and it went. Yume Nikki, Dream Diary is, I guess, more surreal than horror, but it's very good. Umineko, obviously. Higurashi, obviously. And the new When They Cry game, Psychonia, is very good. Dang it, I had one and I forgot. That's annoying. Yeah, and I guess 999 would count as well, even though it went to 3D in the later game.
So your games are only on Steam, right? Because
at the moment, yeah, I would love to. Oh, it's on itch as well if you want DRM. But yeah, I would love to put it on other platforms, but
actually, I have a question. What do you think are the main like differences between publishing on itch and publishing on Steam? What's some of the pros and cons of each?
Steam has the main advantage of Steam is the massive audience. Pretty much everyone has Steam, and while it is tough if you're a small developer to get sort of traction on Steam, it is possible. So I guess it's not quite an even playing field, but if you get lucky, it can be. The cons, the other pro is that their mechanism to actually upload is very easy to use. I don't know why, but itch's upload thing crashes my computer, which is a problem. So, I mean, you can also just upload directly zip file, which is fine, but they have an automatic thing that doesn't work.
I don't know, the argument and the advantage I've made with itch that like Steam doesn't have is they have like a donation system. Do you think that that's beneficial? Because someone else also made the argument to me that yes, we have that donation system, but a lot of times people just download it free and won't come back to like donate. So
yeah. So that's actually a discussion I was having with a good friend the other day, who they recently released a game called, well, not recently, it was recently nominated, I think, for IGF, called Lion Killer, and that used to be free. It's a long game, but they because it's a Twine game, they used to have it for free, and they switched to having it being paid. And so we had this discussion whether we should be charging for games, even if they're small, just so that people will stop downloading them for free and then never coming back. I don't know, I think it's something we haven't quite figured out. I like it. The good thing about itch is that you can decide how much goes to itch themselves and how much goes to the developer, whereas for Steam it's a flat 30%.
Yeah.
Which is quite a lot when you're a small dev, less so if you're a really big developer. But so that's the good thing about itch, is that it's got that, and it's also a bit more flexible. Like I've got, I think for my other game, I have this thing called community copies, where there are a couple of free copies available, and if people can't afford I think it's $8, they can just take a free copy and they don't have to tell me, this is why I can't afford it. They can just take it, which is cool. So you can't really do that on Steam. So yeah, the main pro of Steam is, and always will be, is that everyone has it. You can reach pretty much everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem I have with like itch, and this is I feel like it's just Nano problem, but why itch? How hard is it to set up a DM system?
Oh,
like how hard is that?
Oh, actually, though, I have another problem with itch now that you've mentioned it. People can leave reviews that only the developer can see.
Oh, really?
Which is fine, except that sometimes they're really nice things and I want to have them on the main page, but they don't show up, and that makes me sad. So I don't know why that's a feature.
Yeah, I've noticed depending on the page, they'll have a different like comment system. There will be a comment or more of like a forum discussion system.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah.
It's definitely odd. But yeah, and the other nice thing about itch is that it at least feels like they're always actually trying to talk to the developers, whereas Steam just kind of does whatever it wants.
Yeah, like itch would go out and like promote like devs on their like Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is cool. And yeah, whereas Steam just, or they'll just suddenly decide that we have to redo all of our assets for seemingly no reason.
Yeah,
but I'm not salty about that.
I mean, I get that they can't like promote every single like indie dev. There's a lot. Like I feel like that's part of the problem with like getting games exposure is it's never been this like easy making games like it is today. Because of that, like everyone and their grandmother can do it. When that happens, a lot more games get released and a lot more games get lost,
Exactly. Yeah, it's really tough. So yeah, I think with the whatever it's called, Steam Labs, I think it's moving in the right direction, hopefully, but it's always going to be, as for indie devs, it's always going to be a lot of grassroots, like trying to build a community. And you're always going to be competing with everyone and their grandma making.
So since this is a Twitch stream right now, do you work with a lot of like content creators and stuff?
I would like to. I haven't. Well, I gave out a few codes, which was nice, but I'm a little shy, so I didn't send them to a lot of people. But there's Jupiter Hadley, who does a lot of indie and game jam stuff, who's very cool. Yeah, I would like to work with more content creators. I just don't really know where to start. It's a bit intimidating.
Have you thought about using like key websites like Keymailer or IndieBoost?
Oh, I hadn't really heard of them.
I know like Keymailer kind of gets a bad rap. Like I prefer Indie Boost a lot more than Keymailer. So
okay, see, this is the kind of stuff I need to learn.
Yeah, it's just be careful is all I'm gonna say, because there are those assholes out there that will sell keys, or key reselling is a thing, but
it is definitely.
But I've only like used these sites as like a content creator, so like I don't know much about the developers side. But Indie Boost does seem like the pretty like good one.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, it's something, because I have a very special place in my heart for people who do Let's Plays and streams, because I know people say for narrative games that it'll take away sales, but I don't necessarily think that's true. A lot of games I've seen on Let's Plays and stuff, I've ended up buying because I want to play it myself, or the Let's Play is going too slow, or I want to know how it finishes.
I think it depends on the person. Like I'm one of those people who randomly see a YouTube clip and see like in any other game where you're like, oh, that looks cool. How does that happen? I want to go play in the game and figure out how we got to that point. I want to experience it for myself, even though that major plot point is now spoiled for me. I still want to go and play the game, but I know like not everyone thinks that way. So but
I think, I'd rather reach the kinds of people who do see that kind of thing, rather than just say no. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna let people play it. Yeah.
So we do have a question from Irish John Gaming. They want to know, where did you come up with the name Retrace?
It took me a while. It was one of the first things someone said to me when I said, "Oh, I'm making a game." He was like, "What's it called?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he's like, "You have to go and name it tonight, because otherwise you'll never finish it." How did I name it? I have a Word document somewhere with all of the stupid names I came up with. I think...
Man, coming up with a name is hard, man. I can never come up with names, man. Like,
it's ridiculous. I think I got eventually, because I knew I wanted a book to be a thing, so I was looking up like in a thesaurus things related to writing, and I came up with trace. And I think I went through a few silly iterations before I was like, oh, retrace as in, tracing over paper, and retrace as in retracing your steps. That could be a thing. And so then it was a thing, which I like it because it's simple and kind of memorable, but it also makes it hard to look up. So it has pros and cons. I think for my next game, I'm going to have a more unusual title, so it's easier to search for.
Do you think a name of a game can make or break a game? Do you think a name of a game is that important to get right?
I think it's important to a certain extent. It is, if it's a really bad name, like if it's like a really generic, like Legends or something or other, or something Quest, or I mean, even those games can be good and can overcome a generic or bad name, but I think it's like if you open your mobile app and you see like Clans of Battle, Battle of War, War of Kings, and you're like, well, I'm just not going to even bother. But I think, a really good game can overcome a generic or boring name, but I
think it's like more important for your marketing than anything else. Because your name is pretty much your brand, and you want something that's like easily memorable and people can connect with, and
I think that's exactly right. Like
stuff.
So my friend Nelson is making an airport for aliens currently run by dogs. Is the name of the game.
Wow.
Also known as Dog Airport Game. Now that's not a game. That's not a name you're going to forget either. Like, you might not remember how the whole thing goes, but you're going to remember that it's about dogs and aliens.
Now that's a name, man. That's how
he has good taste in names. I'm going to hire him to name all my projects from now on.
share him with me, man. I'm like terrible with coming up with like character names and stuff.
Yeah,
especially when you have like a big cast of like characters and stuff.
I hate it. I think, God, how did I think I picked Freya. I think I picked all the names for this pretty much randomly. Just as names that I thought sounded nice.
Random names generator?
I think it actually was for some of them. I knew Mia's name before I started. Everyone else was, I think, just like clicking through baby name lists until I saw something that sounded good.
I don't know. I'm just lazy and bad. I use names from like other anime characters that are like similar to my.
I do occasionally, I will occasionally pick names. I think one of my characters is named Jenny after like the Mountain Goats song. So that's usually where I go. Songs and animes.
So just good that they were like complimenting the artwork earlier and stuff. Yeah, I think they're very like interested in your game. So I think we should probably wrap this up so you can go to bed and stuff.
Thank you. Sorry.
It's okay. So where can people find you? Your game? Give us that final sales pitch.
Okay, you can find Retrace at Retrace Game on Twitter, and it's playretrace.com for like the fancy website. I'm EelskWhite, EelskWhite on Twitter. My game studio, which is me at the moment, is Spider Lily Studios, and so you can go to spiderlilystudios.com, spiderlilystudios.itch.io, and all of that good stuff to find my game, which is it is a horror narrative about death and queer love stories, I think is the tagline. That took me forever to come up with. Marketing's hard.
Yeah, I think I've gotten better. So is that the last thing you want to add?
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for having me. This was really
cool.
We went a bit over my half hour. I might get in trouble.
Blame it on me.
I will, definitely.
Cool. So this has been Nano's Indie Cafe, the show where we discuss and promote various indie game and other indie projects. We're here to help grow the indie community, a place where people can just pop in the chat and talk about their projects. So if this show interests you at all, make sure to stop by at twitch.tv/nowhero. And we try to start this at 2 p.m. Arizona time, Wednesday through Friday. We try, but hope you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. And thank you everyone who've been chatting in the chat and pushing that rating. And I'll see you guys next episode, hopefully next week.